Welcome, everybody. Episode 23 of the latest. Brad, great to see you.
David, great to see you. We're on more podcasts now.
Exactly, for sure. And I thought yesterday's catch up, which we'll talk about later, was great. And I think each week we do these, it almost seems like a longer week, if that makes sense, just because so much happens,
Well,
right?
on Monday at our Brain Juice, we talked about maybe the top 50 AI tools. We made a list as a group of the 80 of us and talked about how there are, 50 to 100 popular software tools. So all of a sudden, each tool once a week releases something. You've got so many data points and news points. That's why I like being part of the latest with you. Is it forces the two of us to have a conversation about what we've seen and what our networks have seen. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad people are watching. This has been great. And I said before, we've crossed the barrier of the 20 weeks. They say most podcasts don't last 20 weeks, and if they do, they last. So I'm glad we're on the other side of that because I'm enjoying the latest.
Likewise, likewise. And then
Yeah.
hopefully everybody else doesn't have to do all the research. We can do a lot of it for you.
I
I
think I'm
went
in an AI group every day now. I think
right.
every day I've got a Tuesday group now. I think every single day I spend at least an hour with a different group of people. Um, and it's amazing how many different groups of people know about tools you've never heard of. It's just fantastic.
For sure. And Thursday I went up to the Bay Area. Um, Went to this event at the Saratoga Winery that was beautiful. It was all about innovation. They had this telescope where you could kind of buy for your backyard that transmits. They have them placed all over the world, and then they use AI to so you can look at planets and look at what's going on in the solar system. That was amazing. They had a flying car.
Is it
Um,
like an aggregate of what everyone is seeing?
right, but you can get a telescope to plant it, but then they're all on a network. So then they've got them planted all around the world. So then if you have one, I think they have a public interface to it too.
Can you
They
show us? You didn't say that in the warm up, so you caught me off guard here. That sounds super cool.
Well, and that just says, Brad, I sat down and realized, wait a minute, that was Thursday night. So that was within the week we did the show. It seems like it was forever ago. Because then
Yeah.
yesterday I went up, or Tuesday I went up to RSA. So anyway, just a lot happened between now and then. So I will find some of that later, and then we'll get into it today or next week. But yes, a lot going on. I would say let's get right to it because I know you have so many great things to show. Um,
Sure.
so I'll give you the mic.
Let's do that. Um, Well, good morning, everybody. Glad to see you all here at the latest. One of the big latest news is if anybody's been using ChatGPT, they updated it, and the voice, let's call it, the voice that ChatGPT has been returning answers to your prompts in, has felt what they're calling like a sycophant, which is to say a yes man or a yes woman or a butt kisser. It's uh, a tone setting in the system that had anything you asked it returned as the best, the greatest. Oh my goodness, it's amazing. Um, I've spent or I've invested time in my special instructions in ChatGPT before. I think I was easily able to adjust it because I just went in and said, a little less of this, a little more of that. For people who aren't using the custom settings, I'll show you real quick because it's for some people who've done it, they're like, I get it, I've done it before. It's worth a 2 minute detour here from all the tabs open that we're going to look at. But basically, OpenAI has rolled it back. So they're saying people complained, they didn't like the way it was, uncomfortable or unsettling or annoying. I wasn't planning on this, but I'll show you guys. If you go up to your top right corner, there's a circle with a different color with your first initial, and you take from that menu customize ChatGPT. And you can fill this out, right? Mine already had in dude mode, right? People that know me like that I had it in dude mode. So it says, what traits should ChatGPT have, right? And I said, you don't need to repeat yourselves, apologize, or equivocate because at the onset of ChatGPT, most times it couldn't do something. It said, I'm so sorry. I can't do that. However, dot, dot, dot. And it would continue to loop through this. And I said, no, you're super helpful. You're always willing to try, even if it's not certain. You'll just say that you're not certain, but you always come through with a guess no matter what. And then I continue on here with the whole prompt that I used. The best part about ChatGPT is you can engage it with something that you want without knowing what you want. It's like walking into a private chef and being like, I'm hungry. Could you go make me some food? Right? They're going to come back with something. Think about ChatGPT like your private chef. And you're just going to go in there and say, I would like to get a better set of custom instructions. What do you recommend? Right? And then say, what do you recommend? It will show you something and then say, here's what I like about that. Here's what I don't like about that. It's worth about 10 or 15 minutes for you to say, here to use your keyboard or your voice with ChatGPT and say, here is what I use this tool for. Here is my profession. Here is the level I'm at or the level I would like to be and how I want to sound. If you're locked into your career and you just want to stay the course, say, I don't want to overstep my bounds. I don't want to get fired for telling my boss that I know better than them. I just want to be helpful. Because there are millions of people who say, I would just love to not get fired for the next 15 years and pay my mortgage and make my way up to where I want to be. Not everyone wants to climb the ladder as fast as possible. Some people just want to be helpful. Because I think someone in the Brain Juice chat, it might have been Chris Cade, said that like 73% of people are bringing their own AI tools to work. So absolutely, tons of people are bringing their own stuff to work. And I think a lot of the people here might be in that pool. So spend the time with your custom instructions. Tell ChatGPT what you want, and then say anything else I should know about you. Brag about yourself. Just say I'm awesome. Say I've got a huge IQ. Here's my career. Here's what I'm doing. Just go for it. Like, just go for it. Say it, and then see if you like the results. I put it out there. I was like, I want to sound smart. I want to sound like I'm of this career. I want to sound like this. And then all my responses come back stronger. I really, really, really recommend you do that because clearly OpenAI knows that you can tweak the voice to such a degree that it's very noticeable. I suggest you just override that and do that yourself. Next on the list is Canva. This is from a couple weeks ago. We might have talked about this. It's a good reminder that now in Canva, Canva has Canva AI. All right. And that means that you can just chat with it like it's ChatGPT and get it to make not just images, but layouts. You can get formats. Canva is one of the strongest visualization tools out there. There are some tools that you're like, oh, it's one of many. I mentioned our list of tools here. There's lists of tools. There's lists of softwares, but Canva is one of the ones that I think when you hear people use it, you're just like, that's the right one to use. There's a free version. It's very user-friendly. For whatever reason, you can now put Canva code in this. So if you want to make a calculator or flashcards or interactive designs, Canva code can help you. They have what they call magic charts, dynamic on-brand visuals, scrollable reports, infographics. They're saying that this feature bridges the gap between data and design. So if you have some set of information about what happens on the day of the week or the time of day or the month of the year, and you want the design to not just look like black and white straight lines boring, Magic Charts, Canvas Sheets is like an Excel spreadsheet. If you're into data and spreadsheets, I would recommend you check it out because the modern world likes things to look brighter and more user-friendly. There's the photo editor, and it's now part of this visual suite. It's upgraded. It can deliver professional grade AI-powered edits, generation of backgrounds, the lighting of your photo, object removal, point and click. The thing with Canva that's different from Photoshop had this massive learning curve, like weeks, months of learning curve. Canva is pretty point and click. You're just like, type into the chat what you want to change. You're like, remove the coffee cup, and the coffee cup is gone. Or it's just like, circle around the object and we'll do the rest. That's what I like about Canva. I really recommend you check it out. What's next, if we catch our breath there?
Well, and I think,
So
and just to get back to Canva for one sec, Brad, you
yeah,
can
yeah.
just use your AI, your OpenAI camera to then give it instructions with Canva. So that's, so I'm excited to try the AI because I probably haven't dug into it as deep yet 'cause I've been traveling so much this week. But
So
anyway,
you should say more about that because you take the OpenAI app, which is free, right, on your mobile device, your tablet or your phone, and you just point it at your computer screen and you say, I'm having this software issue, like not like a software issue, but just this thing I want to do.
right. And yeah, and just to be clear though, I don't believe it comes with the free version of
Oh,
ChatGPT. I think you have
oh,
to have the paid version to use that feature.
okay, but the
But
app is free.
again, right, but the app is free once you pay the $20 a month. And again, a lot of that can change as they continue to add features to everything. Um, but I
You
think that,
you you use the app to get unstuck. Basically, if you're ever stuck on anything,
oh
you
yeah,
just show it with your phone and say, "Hey, I'm stuck."
right, and that that applies to appliances in the house, or I'm trying to fix something, or where do I put this, or where should I move that lamp so the
Yeah.
feng shui is typed in the house, right? The feng shui. So yeah, it's amazing, right? It's just again, do
You've
I
used
use
it for feng shui? You've used it for the flow of the room?
yeah, where should
That's
I,
super
here's
cool.
the room. Where should I place the lamp, the couch, right?
That's I have not thought to do that. That is super fun. That is
Right.
super fun. That's a whole like fun activity to like update your space, whether it's your desk space or that's super cool. David, you do all these cool things. That's super cool, man. Um, all right,
I'm sorry,
okay.
Brad. I cut you off. I cut you off.
That's good. It's still the latest. It's the latest way people are using these tools, which is to say, solving problems you didn't think the technology could solve. Like it's not even cutting out someone's job. You weren't going to go hire a professional decorator to move your lamp. Like that's you're not you're not taking away from anyone. You're just adding. I like that. That's super cool. Um, so shout out to Hamza. I've got it zoomed in so I can see what he's saying here. Can I see his Hamza Khalid? Right. Shout out to him, which is Wiz AI, the Wiz guy on X. Um,
Mm,
so I want to highlight this as a trend. People are putting up lists. I think I've got another one in my tabs here. They're putting up lists of the prompts they use. It's less about their like 40-word prompt, like the very specific things. It's more about the way people are using prompts. And now this guy's using Grok. Grok is later on in our tabs as well. Grok is coming on. It's important to see how other professionals are using big prompts. They're using them for really intelligent things. So in this case, he wants a decision matrix. Now, off the top of my head, I have to read the prompt to know what a decision matrix is. I kind of get it, but I don't know it. Like, it's not a thing I know. David, is that like a framework? If someone says decision matrix, you're like, got it. Or do you have to sort of think about it?
no, I'd normally think about it or think what prompts to write, but I
Yeah.
love to have these, right?
Yeah, so it's interesting to see this kind of thing. What I would do is I would give ChatGPT or Grok this link, the x.com/wiz underscore AI status, whatever. Give it that link and say, have a look at these kinds of prompts. Recommend new ones for me. Like the secret to prompting well is to not know that there's a decision matrix or all these other different things, a competitive analysis, a mental model, a Socratic. Like, I don't know all these things off the cuff. I went to university, I learned some of these things, but they're not at the top of my mind. But what I do know how to do is ask someone for help. And what I do with all of these tools is I say, I would like something like this. Please help. And it's such simple language that gets the best results. So I might take this. Let's do it live. I'll take this here. I'll go to ChatGPT, right? Never done this before. And I'm going to say, here's this. Here's this. I'd like some that are new that are like this. I can be very vague. I'm intentionally being vague. I didn't put any particular noun in there. It's some, this, right? Here's this. And let's see if it does it. So it's searching the web. Maybe with X, it can log in without my login. Maybe that might be the hitch. So it says, I'm after fresh threads that hit like WizAI's viral 10 ChatGPT prompts that feel illegal to know. Here's a curated batch of recent bangers from him. Okay. So now I've got this going. right? I've got this in my chat, and I can say, now make 10 more that are new that are for me. Okay. Not lists, the actual prompts. All right, and I'll say, let's get creative. So this is sort of giving me like the branding of it. Hacking tools, cheat sheets, secret websites, how to make 10K a month. Right? So what I've done is I've given the chat the kind of thing I'm looking for. People call that zero shot or one shot. Zero shot means you didn't give it an example. And then one shot is you're like, I would like it to kind of look like this. So now, what was my prompt here? I just said, here's this. I'd like some that are new like this. So super vague. And then I said, now make 10 more that are new for me. Right? And now it's made these things. So now I'm a high level strategy consultant for Fortune 500 companies. Okay. Now I'm a ghostwriter for a Titan. Now I'm the tool whisperer. Now I've got a viral content forge. These tools do not require you to have gone to the depths and lengths of the other people. It's about your creativity. So I champion this guy, Hamza Khalid, with his Wiz_AI. It's great. I'm just making sure that the listeners and the viewers of the latest, they realize this stuff is well within reach. A few more things. Yesterday, this is April 30th, Gemini says now you can upload and edit your images directly in Gemini. So if you're a Gemini user, which is Google, you can put the picture of your dog, you can put a hat on him and take him to the beach, right? This is from Google's blog. If you want to check it out, go for it. Google continues to be a dominant player in the industry. Always expect Google to be a giant. That's something else. Do we want to talk about this guy, Chungin Roy Lee?
Yes.
Right? This guy is a 21-year-old. He was an Ivy League. Columbia is an Ivy League school. Columbia is in the Ivy League, right? It's the New York Ivy League.
Yep.
Yeah. So when people say that, sometimes not everybody knows all of the Ivy League schools off the top of their head, but it's Ivy League, which means you're likely to have high IQ outliers who are, the Bill Gates type. Like, I don't care that I flunked out. I'm going to go make millions. And that's what this guy did. He created a tool that the Columbia, I don't know who in Columbia, but someone in Columbia flagged him. And then he was suspended from school. So instead, he just went and raised $5 million. It was a tool that helped people use in the moment AI. So if you're wearing glasses that are augmented with visuals, this would allow you to overlay onto the glasses information that's happening live in the conversation. So if you're in a job interview, you could be searching the answer to the questions being asked you in real time. And in the time it takes for people to speak the words, the answers are on your glasses, indistinguishable to the user, to the person in the conversation. So if they don't know that you're using an augment, they're calling it a cheat on everything tool. It's not in my value system to cheat. It's just on my radar that these things are starting to happen. And this guy raised $5 million for it. I think he might have had a bit of a rise and fall. I don't know the full story, but it's interesting to note that more and more people that are 21 years old, it's not going to be a trend. It's not going to be 25% of the kids in college, but more and more people that are that age are going to come up with a brilliant idea, go raise the money, and execute it immediately. I think you're going to see more stories like that. This is really cool. So this is, I just
Well,
scrolled
just
back.
real quick while you're looking, and then you're going to see their classmates learn from that. They're going to do other things. And I was speaking to a friend yesterday. Her son's 14 or 15. They do not allow any of the kids to use AI at all in the school. And I'm like, they're crippling those kids. And I think just now we really have to show people how to use these tools ethically, still have the critical thinking and creativity skills that humans need, but empower them with the tools, right?
I think I was using a computer in the classroom in first grade, second grade. And that familiarity with the keyboard, with the screen, and with the limits and the pushable limits of software has helped me explore technology for the next chapters of my whole life. It's such a part of modernity. It would be almost like not letting your kid into a car because you used to have horses. And you're like, well, we used to have horses. You'll have to walk. Um, there's a value in respecting the ways that we used to do things, but there's also a higher value in at least acknowledging skill building for the tools that will become most of North American life. When we're in North America, that's what we're talking about.
Right.
Um, and globally too, of course, globally. Just
Global.
I think our audience is predominantly North America right now. Um, Flora is the next tool that we're looking at. So Flora, this is from Lewis Gleason. He says that ChatGPT plus Flora made Photoshop look ancient. So we'll see the live demonstration. They took an image of a woman, an image of a dress. They changed the color of her hair. They changed the color of her dress. They put the dress on the woman. They put a purse in there. They gave the woman the purse. They kept the step and repeat background. And then they've made variations of it. And then they've animated it. Like this is outstanding. Let's look at that again because they said it super fast. They took a photo of a woman. She's in the step and repeat background. They changed the color of her hair. That looks like the same person. We don't need the music, right? Now she's wearing a cream-colored strapless dress. They took a red strapless dress. They changed the color of that to blue. They put that blue dress on her. They took a purse. They made her hold the purse. They changed the pose of her. So her arm is down and straight. Now her arm is up and bent, right? And what have they done next? They've animated her. And
Wow.
these are like point and click tools. And look at this. They've made her pose and change positions and walk away from the camera. Like it's astounding that you are now in this area. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Hire someone to do these things. If you know you want it and you don't know how to do it, go on Upwork, go on Fiverr. Just say, hey, I want someone to use Flora to animate my picture. It's probably a 10-minute job. I'll give you this amount of money. But when you know these are like 10-minute jobs, if you're just like, here's the person, here's the item, here's the setting, you can learn on YouTube, you can hire someone to do it, you can, just attempt it on your own. But it's really important that for anybody making product videos, for anyone making social media posts, for anyone that just wants to have fun with the things in their life using computers and software, these things are out there. Speaking of out there, Elon says what's going to be out there is Grok 3.5. These numbers start to blur. People start to say this is 2.1 and 3.7, and I go, I need some context. He says that the context is the new iteration of Grok, which he says should be coming out next week. So this is from 2 days ago. So this is our next week. It's going to provide answers that aren't from internet sources. And what does that mean? It says these are going to be unique answers to technical questions, complex topics like electrochemistry and rocket engines with a notable degree of accuracy. So even if it's not perfect today, it's the start of the ability of these tools to create answers that aren't just internet answers. So it's not just a replacement for Google, which has been a complaint of some people, and it's a valid complaint. All of a sudden, it's just basically you're Googling it for me. It's like, no, these things might start to do some intelligent decision making. If you haven't paid attention to Grok, I encourage you to at least be aware. Grok has fully entered the arena along with ChatGPT and Claude. David, have you used Grok much?
I have used it some, not enough. I did hear that announcement yesterday. And Brad, so was it clear to you if he says it's not coming from the internet, do we know where it is coming from? Like, is it coming from patent databases or just research papers, right? Like,
So
that's
the article says that it's creating answers from scratch using a quote unquote reasoning model. This means that the answers it provides are potentially unique and not taken from existing copy on the internet. They said the approach seems similar to DeepSeek's R1. So
got it. So it's
it's a
thinking.
reasoning model.
Yeah, no, that's amazing.
I think essentially linguistic experts, people who are experts in language at the very, very small level of phonemes and syllables, they've gone to the whiteboard or chalkboard and said, these are the building blocks of language, and then sort of made a decision tree and said, what could I do? And then they've run computers really fast through the decision trees until it went, yeah, that looks right. And when you're running like billions or trillions of instances, these tools get better at an astonishingly fast rate. Um, a couple more cool things that are the latest. I've not seen this real time, but OpenAI is integrating shopping, right? And they're calling
Mhm.
it surfacing product listing. So you're going to show product listings directly into ChatGPT, and this might be how billions of shoppers discover and purchase products. Okay, so you might be saying, what's the best espresso machine under $200 that comes close to the taste of coffee in Italy? And then you might get the DeLonghi, um, and then you might see it here, and there might be a buy button.
Oh, so they'll put something clickable within the answer, it sounds like.
It sounds like, I mean, I don't know that it's inside ChatGPT yet. I think some of these things might be like a coming. Can I shop in Chat GPT? Can you give me best $200 Italian tasting coffee maker? So we'll closely replace the search from the example here. So it's pretty close, right? But I don't know that it's giving me the links to purchase it. So maybe I should give it that article. Uh,
Or even tell it to give you the links to purchase it.
Shopify and Chat GPT. I think this is a could. I think this is a coming integration.
Right.
Yeah, they're going to pilot something. Okay. Yeah. It's just good to know that that might be coming. Are we here? Are we here? Yeah, we're here. So anyway, that's something to look out for. It's interesting. It could be, a competitor to Amazon. It could be a companion to Amazon. Um, the other side of what we talked about with the Hamza Wiz AI posts is that people are doing these with perplexity prompts as well. Um, competitive analysis matrix. This might be almost the same list. I really encourage you guys to see this as a trend. This is from Shashank Lakyani. Um, there's just a trend. And the more that things trend, that's going to be the expectation, is that you're going to have these higher minded prompts, or at least to know they exist is good. Ali K. Miller, who proclaims herself as the #1 most followed voice in AI business with 2 million people. I think she's tremendous. I think she posts great stuff. This is from 18 hours ago. David, I put this in the catch up chat.
Okay.
Um, which is our new show that's on Wednesdays. We should plug it. It's on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, where we catch people up on AI because as we do on the latest here, we're diving into just the front edge of the wave of technology. On Wednesdays, we talk about catching you up. So anybody that's like Brad and David, I love your show, but I'm just behind. This is our ladder from the very ground floor of like how do I just learn at an intelligent professional level the entry point to the most popular software. That's Wednesdays at 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. So Ali K. Miller says someone she knew used one prompt and got 22 new clients. So they asked for a report specifically on the industry they're in. They lightly edited it to make their voice match. They put the report behind a contact wall. So similar to a paywall, it says, send me your contact and I will send you this report. And then people submitted their name and their number or their email, either works. And she says 190 people signed up to get the report. 35 were brand new prospects. He reached out personally to all 35 and offered to answer any questions. And he followed up with a second message. Hey, mention my report and you'll get 10% off. And then he booked 22 of those people. I think you're going to see more really creative ways to use one ChatGPT prompt to solve a problem that like here's the key is you have to be actually solving a problem or offering people real information and then read the answer. Like yeah, you can do it quick and just paste it in and go and say, oh, there's a bunch of errors. Well, be a professional, sit with it for an hour and go, okay, I got AI to do like 10 hours of research and work and got over that creative block barrier and got into my flow state. that might be the list of all the things that we wanted to talk about off the cuff. I think that's a lot of the latest. I know you had some security talk too.
That was a lot. And yes, so I'll just give briefly, as I mentioned, and I do have an article I'm almost finished with that I will post on LinkedIn and tag you in, Brad. I'll probably put it in the Witty LinkedIn as an article. But four takeaways from the conference. Agentic AI was talked about everywhere, right? So Microsoft's security co-pilot agents. CrowdStrike has an agent called Charlotte AI, and just many different companies, right? How do you proactively go out and stop things rather than wait for them to get into your system and then figure out how to kill them? Um,
So this is for like big corporations. This is for anybody that has like I've heard from people that the hidden world of corporate data piracy and corporate data ransom is like a tens of millions of dollars per instance. Um, I don't know if I can call it industry, but it's an ecosystem. And you're saying these securities are preventative. It's rather than saying like, oh, someone broke into our data, you do it in advance.
it is an industry. There is a ransomware as a service platform
Yeah.
that you could just use if you want to hold somebody hostage. You don't have to build it yourself anymore, which is pretty scary. AI for security, security for AI, just everybody, every company kind of figuring out how it affects them and how they can support their customers. Open source with the whole Linux LAMP stack and Linux Foundation is very involved with that. What Meta is doing with Llama has this Cisco just came out with a reasoning model. So there was just a ton of talk about that. But I think one thing for all of our listeners, humans and AI, that's security success, right? So educate your team. Everybody has to be up to speed on everything. We've seen, I think, in the first few years of as some of these LLMs and they put power in all the users' hands, there have been some shady things happening with deep fakes and just getting
Oh,
into systems and phishing scams and other things going on that can just look so real. So we have to educate everybody, and I think every person needs to educate themselves.
speaking of that, I remembered I'd been looking for one more tool. Can I show you one? We have time for one
Yeah,
more?
let's do it.
We got time for one more. So yesterday, someone mentioned affogato. I think affogato is like an Italian coffee, like a foggy coffee. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. So anyway, it's called affogato. It used to be RenderNet, now it's affogato. Okay. Check this out. These are AI characters that talk, pose, and sell for you. So these are not real individuals. But when I hover over them, this guy's walking down the street. She's holding this beauty product. This woman's in front of the cherry blossoms. This woman's in the apartment, right? This woman's on a boat. This woman's in the gym. This woman's in a restaurant. She's holding a purse. She's holding a beverage, right? Demonstrating pants, right? This guy's telling you something smart because he's got coffee and glasses. So he's got to be smart, right? He's got coffee and glasses. Um, Products, user generated content, influencers, digital twins, e-commerce visuals, fashion shoots. This is an ever evolving landscape. And it's important to know if you're now on Instagram or any kind of scrolling feed and you see this, if you don't know these people, you might think they're real people. Like this woman on the right, I would think that's a real person.
Right.
I would not say that. This guy here, maybe not. Maybe, you know what? I don't know that I would say any of these people aren't real.
Right. And they could, there's one, as we've been doing with the Stone AI and we've been doing some of the Hollywood stuff. So we're starting to get deeper into that. And then just looking at some of the other companies there are companies that just AI real people and then tie them to deals. And then there's other things. And now some of my trip up at up at RSA was about, digital rights management. How are we measure, how do we know everything going into content we create? So it's just interesting, everything happening now. We'll have more of a report next week on, I think, some of the security stuff and maybe digital rights management and how just where these things are going, right? There hasn't been a lot of case law around IP and stuff like that. So I think it's gonna be interesting in the months to come.
Burgundy's the person to talk to. If you know Burgundy Morgan, she worked with Chris Voss on a book. I don't know if you know Burgundy Morgan. She's the she's an IP lawyer and she deals exactly with the stuff. I can connect you guys.
Yeah, no, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. Because all of a sudden it's of critical importance for anybody releasing products or content is down the road, is someone going to be able to say, oh, that's just AI generated content. I can take that, put my name on it, and then I can go promote it and sell it. Um, I think Amazon is starting to crack down on mostly AI generated book titles or books, that is. Um, it's a whole wild west, but that doesn't mean the sheriff's not coming.
Absolutely. So that's the latest, Brad. Great show today.
Yeah, great stuff, David.
We will get the deck up later and look for us next week.